To say he's changed my life would be an understatement. He's woven himself into my world so completely, I don't know who or what I might be without him. He represents the past, beginnings, endings, heartbreak, love, 7 books, 8 movies, millions of childhoods, one of them mine. And come the 15th of July, another part of my life will have ended. I can't believe this happened, what the fuck, when did I get so old? And I can't stop crying over Harry Potter, even though I know it'll never be over. I can't stop crying over Harry Potter. This thing called growing up is so much harder than I ever thought it could be. But I'll always carry Harry with me. We always find a way to keep these things alive. His world will be around until the end of time. For every closed window there's an open door. Yeah, I'm talking about Pottermore. I know in my lifetime I'll face lots of Dementors. If I didn't, I wouldn't have much to live for. I've got this Patronus burning in my heart. Yeah, that's right, me and Harry will never part. He's inside of me. Wow, that sounds quite creepy. I can't stop crying over Harry Potter.
How'd you get into Harry Potter?
The movies. We read them in elementary school, and I think I read like the first 3, and then I just started doing the movies, and I didn't read the rest of them until actually last summer, till after the last movie came out, and then I wanted to read all of them all the way through.
Everybody I knew was talking about it and reading it, but I wasn't. It was like in 2009, and I was in 2008, 2009, and I was in the job search, so I was making all of these flights all over the country to interview for academic positions, and so I had all this time to sit in the airport, and so I started reading Harry Potter, and then I just didn't stop.
Okay, it's actually really funny, like, because everyone else liked it, I decided I would hate it, you know, because it just seemed like a stupid thing, like, when I heard about the basics of it, but then my best friend in elementary school, I'm assuming it was like 3rd grade or something, he was into the series, and so I finally just, like, I don't know, sort of relented and decided to read it, and then I found out I really liked it, so then I was hooked.
Not a big fiction person. I'm not a big reader. If I do read, normally it's nonfiction. So that was kind of weird for me actually to read the Harry Potter books.
I think only the first 2 books were out when I got into it. I was always the same age as the main character, Harry Potter, so that was kind of nice.
My father's coworker brought them home one day from when I was in elementary school, and he started reading them to me.
That's good. So you got into the series from the beginning, or came in kind of
Beginning.
late? Very beginning.
Absolute beginning.
So you were part of the generation that grew up with the characters.
Yes. My father read the first book to me. After that, I started reading all of them by myself, even though I was only in 3rd grade.
I was going to ask, did the movies live up to the books? Would you say the books lived up to the movies?
Yeah, I'd say there was a lot more information, so things made a lot more sense in the books because there was a lot more background information, so sometimes the movies were kind of confusing because you didn't have all the background knowledge from the books.
People who watch the movies, I'm not sure if it would get them into reading the series or not. I'm trying to think if I've seen a movie first and it got me to read the book. I think it's possible, though, for sure, because I have a lot of friends who've seen the Harry Potter movies, and then they're like, I don't really get what's going on, and I'm like, well, they skipped all this detail. If you read the book, you'd understand.
I think it is both positive and negative. Positive because hopefully the kids will go out and look for the books that the movie was inspired from, but also they might end up either disappointed in the book because it wasn't like the way the movie was, or they might just be disappointed in the movie because the book was better, or they like left out a ton of stuff, or in some cases they took like the portion of the plot and then ran off with it in the complete opposite direction, which they have done, and it has irritated the crap out of me.
You know, they're not bad. I mean, I think that they did a pretty good job because the books are really detailed. I mean, they're kind of the same as Lord of the Rings, you know? You can't encompass everything.
I actually was really excited. And since then, I have decided that out of all the movies that are turned into books, and there are lots, Harry Potter is probably one of the best representations.
Oh, so you have a pretty good outlook on the movies then.
Yeah. I look forward to them. I mean, I know they take a different take, and I know I could sit there and nitpick at them, but I figure they're pretty decent movies for what the books were.
I remember I was really impressed by the first movie, but And the second one they did a good job too. But then they changed directors, and the character who played Dumbledore died, and then, I don't know, I was just sort of like, I'd watch them, but I wasn't as excited.
Were you much of a reader, or did you have a good involvement in books before that?
Not entirely. Like, I did, but Harry Potter really just kicked it off. I haven't stopped reading since then.
So it's been like a good influence on you.
Yeah, definitely. It has made me a very passionate reader, very avid reader, and I'm addicted to books.
You said you read them in elementary school. Was it like required, or was it something your friends
It
read?
was something they kind of promoted. You know, everybody was into it, so it was like, hey, read Harry Potter. So all the kids are reading Harry Potter. I think they actually had the books, like they would let you take them home and read them, so they actually had the books at the school.
Do you think that helped any in terms of literacy?
Probably. So, because they were kind of expensive back then when they first came out, and they were the hardcover. So yeah, if somebody didn't have access to them, and they could take them home for the weekend and read them.
I was also working as a private ESL tutor at the time when I was in grad school, and I was tutoring a young girl who was in first grade. And she was a Korean girl, and she was a second language learner, obviously. And her family was very, you know, because they were all Korean speakers first, and their English was fairly poor. And one thing she wasn't interested in reading or learning at all. The one thing she was interested in was reading Harry Potter. Now, she actually didn't have she wasn't developed enough to actually read the books on her own, but she was obsessed with reading Harry Potter. And so I remember sitting down with her. The only thing that would motivate her was reading the first chapter of Harry Potter. And so seeing that, like that personal example I had of seeing how that really was a gateway to literacy for her, I really would support using the Harry Potter books in schools, because I think that anything that motivates students and interests them and gets them excited about something is worth pursuing in a learning situation.
What do you think was so special about Harry Potter that made it so popular?
It's like a movie inside your head when you're reading it. Like, you read it and she just gets it. She's one of those really special writers who you just feel like you're there. And every book that she had introduced new characters that somebody could relate to. I mean, you may not necessarily relate to like the main three, but like you could relate to Luna or Neville, or just like she had such a wide variety of characters, and they were all pretty in depth, at least by the end of it, that you were able to relate to one of them.
You've read the Harry Potter novels. Have you had any desire to read any more, or was it just like a one-time thing?
I did read Jurassic Park right after I finished all the... It's kind of like I need to have the movie. I need to be able to visualize what's going on. So once I read the Harry Potter, then I actually went back and I read both the Jurassic Park books to go along with the movies. So I always like those movies.
Do you think you'll be reading any more now that you've experimented a little?
Possibly when I have time in the summer, yeah. So that's what Harry Potter's done for me.
To say he's changed my life would be an understatement. He's woven himself into my world so completely, I don't know who or what I might be without him. He represents the